Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel where today we're going over one of the most frustrating, crazy, insane games that I have ever had the privilege of watching that ended up in the highest scoregami tie of all time as the Green Bay Packers and Dallas Cowboys, through sheer stupidity on both teams, mainly on the Packers, ended up in a 40-40 tie game, and where Dak Prescott and Jordan Love looked fantastic, these defenses look like crap, and Matt LaFleaur had some very questionable play calls. But before we get started going down to scoring breakdown, stat breakdown, box scores, all that great stuff, please give the video a like, comment, and subscribe. And let's get going with the scoring breakdown here. Started off really fast for the Packers as they got a touchdown on their first drive with a Romeo Doubs 2-yard pass from Jordan Love to make it 7-0 Green Bay. In second quarter, the Packers went up 13-0 on a Romeo Doubs 1-yard pass from Love, but the Cowboys managed to block the extra point attempt, and not only block it, return it all the way to a defensive point after attempt conversion to get their first 2 points in the game to make it 13-2 Green Bay. The Cowboys got a touchdown with a minute left in the game with a Dak Prescott 2-yard run to make it 13-9. And after a Jordan Love fumble where the Packers were aggressive in trying to get field goal to end the first half, George Pickens had a wide open pass from Dak Prescott to make it 16-13 Dallas heading in halftime. In the third quarter, Josh Jacobs had a 1-yard touchdown run, making it 20-16 Green Bay. Ferguson had a 8-yard touchdown pass from Dak Prescott, making it 23-20. Then the Packers answered right back with a Josh Jacobs 18-yard run, making it 27-23. Javonte Williams had a 1-yard touchdown, making it 30-27 Dallas. The Packers had another touchdown with a Romeo Doubs 15-yard pass from Love, made it 34-30. George Pickens had a 28-yard touchdown pass from Dak Prescott, making it 37-34 Dallas. But as time expired in the fourth quarter, McManus hit a 53-yard field goal to send the game to overtime in an absolutely wild fourth quarter of football. And in overtime, after a 10-play drive, Brandon Aubrey had a 22-yard field goal, making it 40-37. And then McManus had a game-tying 34-yard field goal to tie the game up at 40-40. It was a tale of the offenses as both offenses over 400 yards. The Packers had 489 yards compared to 436. Packers did have one turnover on the Jordan Love strip sack. First downs, pretty even, 32 for Green Bay, 26 for Dallas. Penalties, 11 for Dallas for 95 yards, 7 for Green Bay and 53 yards. Packers were 10 of 14 on third down. Dallas 4 for 11, but they got a lot of big plays on first and second down, which allowed that to happen. Fourth downs even, red zone basically even, time of possession basically even. This was a well-fought offensive matchup. And let's go through the stats. Jordan Love had a fantastic game. Went 31 of 43 for 337 yards passing, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. Did get sacked once, had a QBR of 58.0, but a passer rating of 118.1. Josh Jacobs had a slow start, but got it going at the end. 22 carries, 86 yards, 2 touchdowns. Emmanuel Wilson, 8 for 44. Jordan Love, 3 for 28. Josh Jacobs had 4 receptions for 71 yards. Dobbs, 6 for 58 and 3 touchdowns. Golden, 5 for 58. And Kraft, 5 for 56 as well. Jordan Love did lose a fumble, and that caused a Dallas Cowboy touchdown. Quay Walker, 11 total tackles, led the team, 6 solo. Only sack today was a Micah Parsons, was basically a no-yard sack, so it doesn't really count too much. Micah Parsons also had 3 quarterback hits. 2 pass deflections from Keyshawn Nixon as well. Bo Melton, pretty decent in kick returns as well. McManus 2 for 2 on field goals, including the game-tying and 2 game-tying field goals there. 4 for 5 on extra points, including the 1 block. And Dan Whelan had a pretty good game punting, both inside the 20, long of 43. So let's start off with the positives. Positives. Offense looked fantastic after a bad week against the Browns. They were able to score 40 points against a bad Dallas defense. Jordan Love was fantastic. The run game got going in the second half, which is good. And the offensive line, even though they gave up a good amount of pressure, considering they were missing like 2 to 3 starters, did not play too bad, especially because Jordan Love was incredible. Dobbs, him and Jordan had that chemistry in the red zone. He had a fantastic game. And I got to give a shout out to Brandon McManus. It wasn't his fault that the extra point got blocked. That was purely on Luke Musgrave not blocking the guy correctly. But to hit the 2 game-tying field goals and make sure the Packers did not lose this game, absolutely huge. So, shout out to Love, Dobbs, and McManus. Those are my 3 players of the game here for Green Bay. But I got some words to say to Mr. Matt LaFleaur, Mr. Jeff Hafley, and whatever the heck happened with that defense. Because how do you allow 40 points to the Cowboys, missing 2 starting offensive linemen and C.D. Lamb? You let George Pickens have his way with you, 8 for 134 and 2 touchdowns. Dak Prescott had a great game against his defense, who has held great offenses to bad performances. How do you not win against, I'm looking at our pass rush. Lucas Van Ness, Rashawn Gary, Micah Parsons. I know Micah had a good amount of pressure and everything, but it did not translate to stopping this Cowboys offense at all. They needed sacks. They did not get it. Partially because the Dallas Cowboys held them every single play, but no excuses. No excuses. Jeff Hafley looked bamboozled out there. The corners, especially Nate Hobbs, who could not cover George Pickens to save his life, was absolutely awful. And yeah, Jeff Hafley looked, for the first time all season, this defense looked absolutely terrible. And Matt LaFleaur generally had a good game calling the offense. Great from offense standpoint. Terrible from a head coaching standpoint of knowing when to be aggressive and when not to be aggressive. Case in point, the drive the Packers had before the end of the first half, where they try to be aggressive and try to get some points before the second half, knowing Dallas had the offense. By being aggressive there, he caused a fumble by Jordan Love because Rasheed Walker couldn't block, and boom, 4 seconds later, touchdown Dallas to take the lead. Just ran out the clock there. You would be able to just probably win this game based on how the rest of that game went. And then turn around in overtime, where if you get a touchdown after you held the Cowboys to a field goal, you win the game. Instead, once you get into the red zone, you stop trying to move the football. Instead, you call bubble screens, handoffs, instead of doing what has worked all game long. That's let Jordan Love grip it and rip it. And instead, you settle for a field goal. And that's not even starting in Matt LaFleaur, who has the decision to fire coordinators, of keeping Rich Bisaccia as this team's special teams coordinator. This is 2 weeks in a row that the special teams unit not blocking properly for Brandon McMahon is causing them to not win the football game. Last week, it was against the Browns, where a potential game-winning field goal was blocked, ended up giving the Browns great field position to then win the game. And here, after the Packers get their second touchdown of the game, a 3-point swing happened. Instead of being up 14 points, you only turned to be up 11 because they could not block anything. They also gave up long kick returns, what it was disadvantageous to have that happen. Why is Rich Bisaccia still coaching this football team? He's not even helping as assistant head coach, as he is actively helping LaFleaur screw up the game management. Just absolutely baffling calls there. It's just everything went wrong in this game, only because Jordan Love carried this offense by himself, basically, that we're coming away here with a tie. And so the Packers are 2-1-1. They're heading into the bye week, which originally I thought, week 5 bye week, that's going to suck. Turns out this team's needed because they need a wake-up call to decide, hey, defense, wake the heck up. Offensive line, get healthy. Hopefully we get Aaron Banks and Zach Tom back against the Bengals, and they are able to become healthy again, because the first 2 weeks played pretty well. Last 2 weeks have not played well. They need to get the heads up their own butts, quit blowing up their own smoke, and play good, fundamental football like they did the first 2 weeks of the season. And they have a long, hard 2 weeks to think about what they have done and hopefully improve upon it. Thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoyed the content, like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you in the next one. Peace.